Hi everyone, this is your Thursday's English lesson and we are coming nearly so close to the end. Tomorrow will be our last paragraph, so we're just so close, and today we are going to do our chase scene paragraph. So we've gone in, explored the tomb, we've gone into the treasury, something startled us or made us scared, we realised we're not alone in there, someone might be in there with us or something, and then yesterday you have found out that something has been stolen. So my choice that was stolen was a treasure chest, and yours could be anything from the death mask to the mummy himself to the crown to the jewels, anything at all. Something has been stolen. So today Howard Carter is going to chase after the thief. So again, the success criteria is quite similar. We're going to use speech, but we're going to have some reciprocated speech. So it's going to further the action. So a little bit of a conversation in there. We're going to add that dramatic effect again. We want our reader on the edge of our seat, not knowing what's going to happen next. Again, we're doing some show not tells about our characters. Now we've got a second character in our English paragraphs as well. Carrying on with our 5 senses. And now, because you did such a good job in your spag, we're going to do similes, metaphors and personification. So have a little think about what you remember about similes and metaphors that you did the other day, and they're definitely going in it. So overall, our learning objective and our success criteria today is we are going to write that action paragraph that includes Howard chasing the thief and using speech between the characters. Speech punctuated correctly, may I add. So the first thing I want you to do is, like we do in class, we do like a little comic strip sometimes to help us plan out what it's going to actually look like. So you've got to think about Howard running up after the thief, kind of maybe write down some bubbles about what they would say to each other. For example, Howard might say, "Come back," or the thief might say, "No, it's mine," or Howard say, "Please, please." So I just want you to write, just like you would for a normal comic strip, what that chase scene would look like. What would they be saying to each other as that chase scene was happening? So just bullet point it. You can put it in words, bubbles. You can even draw the chase scene if you want, but that's just your little starting task to think about what would they say to each other. So here on our plot mountain, the climax, something's happened, something's been stolen, which I'm going to highlight in red, the same as yesterday. Oh my goodness, something's happened. Now today we are on this section here, which is the falling action. So we need to kind of get to our resolution for tomorrow, we don't know what that will be yet. So this chase scene is all about the falling action. We're wanting our thing back, whatever it is he has stolen. We're not just going to sit and take it and let him steal something from our tomb that we've discovered. We are going to try and get it back. So here is my model text. You can pause the screen here, read it to yourself, or you can listen to me have a go. See if you can find any of the things that I spoke about in that second slide of the success criteria before we go into underlining it ourselves. Okay? Electricity bolted through his legs and he jolted without a thought, straight back up the staircase, into the burning Egyptian sun. His knees buckled at the steps, dissolved beneath him, his frantic weight like a wave crashing against the sand. Sweat pelted from his forehead as he reached the peak of the tomb. He dropped the now scratched torch and used paintbrush from his hands in horror. He squinted at a figure running frantically into the shadows of the pyramids, holding the precious chest. "Stop! Please stop!" Howard cried in desperation. "Help me!" As fast as a cheetah, Howard dropped his worn black backpack and chased the bandit. His legs and arms had never moved so robotically and quick. He was a lion hunting his prey. "I will chase you all day," Howard screamed. "This is my life's work, and you will not steal this dream from me." A trail of diamonds led the way as they had bounced and bundled from the heavy impact of the chase. They had danced across the sand. They looked like a path of breadcrumbs Hansel had left Gretel. The thief whipped his head around to see the devilish stare in Howard's eyes. He couldn't help gaining on his lead, and the fresh desert wind made the sand whip and slap his face. "These artifacts belong to Egypt. You have no right to take them." The world deserves to know the history of ancient Egypt, Howard pleaded. I will die before you steal our legacy. Okay, so like always, I'm going to go through and have a look at my success criteria, and I'm going to underline the section in my model text. So here I've got speech to further the action. Please notice that I haven't got speech all the way through it. It's sections through each paragraph. So I haven't got he said this, then she said this, then he said this, and it's really boring when that happens. I've just dotted it in each section so you know that they're having this conversation. They're not stood face to face, they're chasing after each other. He's screaming it, he's cried it. So I want you to make sure that you're not using the word said. Said is boring. So I want you to make sure that you're really up-leveling those verbs. So I've got a few here that he's asking people to help him. So without me telling the audience, oh, he needs help, I've already told them that through the action. So I've continued it through my speech. I also have I will chase you all day, which tells the audience that he's not going to give up. I've got none in this section here because I've got a lot of description here. And then finally, I've got these new line, new speaker at the end of my paragraph. So I've done new line, new speaker because on these sections here, I've not told you who says the line, because here I said Howard pleaded. So that gives you an idea of who is saying these two lines. These artifacts belong to Egypt. You have no right to take them. If it's not Howard saying it, who do you think's saying it? I could have said the thief cried or the thief screamed, but instead I've just decided to leave it blank and use the structure of new line, new speaker. So instead of carrying it on into new sentences here, I've just said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just start a new line. So that's a really nice way of introducing a conversation. So dramatic effect, I've got quite a lot. So I have about it bolted through his legs. I've got things on so I'm on the edge of my seat. His knees buckled, which is a nice verb. He's got the word horror in there. I've got the as fast as a cheetah, which is a really nice adverb of manner that tells me what he was like. I've got all these nice, oh, he screamed this and he did this and he cried this. This is my life's work. So it's all reaching that climax of what is going to happen to this thief. I've got lots of description here, which is really nice to build that tension. I have the section about that he jolted without back up the staircase. So lots of things that were really driving me to the edge of my seat. Showing up tells again to show me that Howard is fuming and he's chasing. So we've got that he cried in desperation. I've got that he bolted through his legs. So that shows me he did it really quickly because he wanted to get out. I've also got that his knees buckled, and that shows me that he just couldn't stop himself, he needed to go. I've got that sweat pelted down his forehead, so he's really hot. He's really, maybe he's back out in the sun, which he is, and he's sweating, and he's obviously anxious or nervous. So when you're sweating, we've also got that he's dropped everything. So when you drop everything, you want to run quickly because he wants to run as fast as he can. I've also got, he's got a devilish stare, to see the devilish stare in Howard's eyes. So why would Howard have a devilish stare? He's meant to be a nice guy. Obviously he's angry. He's determined to get it back. So he's like devilish staring at the person who's stolen it from him. And then finally I've got my 5 senses here. So I'm going to do that in purple. So what can he feel? I've got that the wind slapped him in the face in the sand. I've got what he can hear because he can hear all this conversation happening. I've got that he can feel sweat pelting from his head. I haven't done his smell and I haven't done his taste in this because really I'm not describing a setting. That's more for setting description. This is why I'm moving the conversation and the paragraph and the story along. So much more of what he can see and what he's saying rather than those other senses. Similes, I have quite a few in there. I'm going to do that black. So I'm looking for those keywords like or as. I see they looked like the path of breadcrumbs I've got. And see if I have any in this top section here. Maybe I've just got one. That's something that maybe I could add in. See the devilish stare, he could feel them gaining. I think I've just got one, but see if you can find one that I can't see as I'm doing this. Maybe you will be able to. Metaphors. See if I've got in there. Oh, here we go. He was a lion. So he wasn't like a lion hunting for his prey. He was the lion. So that tells me, well, obviously he's not really a lion, but it gives me imagery that he's determined. He's not going to give up. He's fierce. He's strong. And he's not going to let it get away from him. So I'm using a metaphor in there to show me that. Personification, maybe this is going to be my up level because I have a feeling that I don't have one in here. But I'll have a look into the way. Oh, here we go. Here's another simile. What was that? Black. Frantic weight, like a wave crashing against the sand. So I have got two similes, so maybe that's why I don't have any personification, because I didn't see if there's room for it. No, I haven't got any here. So maybe I could say holding the precious chest, which was screaming for him. I could say that he dropped his warm backpack as it yawned across his chest. I could say the thief whipped his head around. He could see him gaining on and led into the fresh dancing desert wind. I could add up that it was like powerful, the hugging desert wind, and the wind slapped his face. So I have got a little bit of personification here. The sand whip and slap his face. Obviously it can't slap him in the face like a human can, but that gives me an example that it's quite bitter and it's harsh. So I have got a few as I go through, but I made sure that I have got everything that I need. And I think the most important one that we're looking at today is this one, speech to further the action. Okay? Right, so now it is your turn. So this paragraph is overall our action, the chase scene between Howard and the bandit. So whether that's your thief, whether that's they've stolen something, this is where it kind of goes into your hands and your decisions. The conversation needs to happen between them two. They're not going to just stand and talk like they're friends. One of them has stole a belonging of the other. So it's going to be quite a fiery, intense conversation and shouting. I want you to imagine how intense that is and fast-paced, and really try and reflect this in your writing. So short, snappy sentences maybe. So remember to refer back to the screen that we've just done. You can freeze your screen there, you can use some of mine and magpie it, but remember, don't copy it, please. You've got your own fantastic ideas, and I can't wait to see it, because tomorrow is going to be where we sum up our story and maybe leave it on a ... or we sum it up and it's finished there. So that one's going to be up to you as well. So I can't wait for you to finish it, and then it will be a fantastic piece of writing.